Here, the feature bout in the prelims of UFC 294 in the flyweight division. Muhammed Mokaev gets it done over Tim Elliott via submission via arm triangle choke at 3:03 of round number 3. Mark, give us your thoughts.
This was a hell of a performance, man. Tim Elliott is no easy task for anyone, even at this stage of his career. And he did threaten with some subs, which is the one knock on Mokaev to this point. He kind of puts himself in too many risky positions, and at some point it feels like that might bite him as he works his way up the line here. But aside from that, the dude's fantastic. He is one hell of a wrestler, one hell of a grappler, and as much as he puts himself in these bad positions at times, he is great at staying calm in them and then even reversing his way out of them. He is a very skilled kid, and now he's a skilled kid who's broken through to the top 10. So we'll see how aggressive they want to get when choosing his next opponent. But to finish Tim Elliott is a nice feather in his cap, and his next fight may very well be a big one.
Omar, your thoughts?
Yeah, dude. I think Mokaev is a real problem, man. It's hard not to really embrace that pace that kid puts in a fight, right? Just like Mark talked about, Tim Elliott is no easy out, and one of Tim Elliott's best attributes is his awkwardness and his pace. And Mokaev, I thought, had to do some adjustments early in order to kind of get the feeling of Tim Elliott. And I think once he did, man, I think we really got to see. I think I joked about it last week about, this fight basically being the cartoon with two guys that are just rolling around in a dust ball. And like, we weren't really that far from that in that fight. They were rolling around, changing positions. One guy had the top, the other guy at the bottom, rolling around, submission attempt. I mean, it got fucking crazy in there, especially towards, like, I think the second round was really where things got really kicked off in the ground game almost consistently. And then by the time we got into that third round, man, like, it was just more of the same, but just the coin had basically flipped on Mokaev's side at that point. Like, they had just gone through so many different transitions and so many different positions, so many different sequences that they had just at one point ended up where Mokaev caught him. It was just a good grappling fight that just ended up the way that it did, man. Mokaev is a problem, though, because Tim Elliott has years of experience. Mokaev doesn't even have nearly as many fights as he has, half as many fights as Tim Elliott does, basically. But Mokaev is full of talent and full of hard work, it seems. So he's going to be a problem.
Still only 23 years old is Muhammad Mokaev.
Yeah.
That is insane for the level of skill that he brings in here. Let's talk about where he goes from here. Mark, Mokaev, the UFC now has him ranked 10th, and he hasn't fought anybody in the top 10. So the world is his oyster. What would you do next with him?
He mentioned Kai Kara-France and Manel Kape. I'm not going to go there because I want them to fight each other just because of the beef between them. And I think the UFC will hopefully pull that trigger and match up Kape and Kai. So with them being out of the picture, I think what makes the most sense is one of Mateusz Nicolau or Alex Perez, who I think are sitting in pretty similar places right now. But I will say a fight as big as Amir Albazi is not out of the question because he's kind of sitting there waiting for a fight, and I'm not sure who else he has to fight.
I'd be down. Wow. But he's ranked number 3. That's nuts.
Who is he going to fight, though?
Yeah,
assuming they're making Kai and Kape. Like, he's not going to fight Moreno, is he? I don't think they're making that fight.
No.
So
that was pretty much who I had, though. I wanted him because I don't know what's going on with Kai Kara-France at this point. I don't know what his injury update is, or I don't even think we know what the fuck happened, right? He never really disclosed what his injury was, but did he? I don't think so. Either way, I don't know what Kai Kara-France is doing right now, and if they're not going to book that, I do think a fight between him and Manel Kape is pretty damn intriguing, I gotta say. Yeah, exactly. And if it does go between Kai Kara and Manel Kape, honestly, Mokaev is probably best suited to just chill out for the few months that might take, see who comes out ahead in that fight, and take the winner of that fight.
Okay. Cool, let's move on.
Or the loser. I'm sorry, not the winner.
It's
The
okay.
winner wouldn't make any fucking sense. The loser.
All right.